Would you look at that? Just look at it.
For your pants.
Oh yeah.
Throw all that up on that pool.
Look at this little drive shaft. Isn't that cute? That's it. That's all you got. 1,000 horsepower. I mean, what? Nothing.
It's like a pretty serious clutch.
It should be. Chrysler doesn't ever cut corners. Not ever. So here's the factory clutch. One disc, twin disc. 50,000 miles or 52,000 miles on it. Look at that. Who's a good driver? Who's a good driver? There's nothing wrong with this at all. Anyone want to buy a clutch from a Viper 5th gen? It's real cheap. So here's the factory throwout bearing, or clutch release bearing. And the new one, the new Mantic clutch came with it's actually the same thing, but since the assembled height of the Mantic deck is shorter than the factory one, it comes with this spacer block that goes like this, bolting in onto the input shaft of the transmission. Only, I seem to have misplaced the longer bolts that hold it together. Here are the factory bolts, and so these are not going to be long enough. So now we're on the hunt to find extra bolts. My bad. My B. So here's the factory clutch, all assembled, and then here's the fancy schmancy Mantic twin plate. SFI, yo. Should be about 12 to 14 pounds lighter, but I don't have my scales on me. I'll have to weigh this one when I get home. So here's the factory flywheel out, and it's being replaced with this flywheel. It's actually a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. There's you got your part number right there. Ain't that cool? Here's the little bell housing adapter plate. So the transmission gearbox attaches to that, and this attaches to that motor there. So if you needed to put a Tremec TR6060 in any of your vehicles, this is the only piece you really need. Alright, bell housing's on, and clutch line should kind of sort of work, except for there's no way to bleed it, really. Alignment tool is out, so now we're going to pick this thing up and toss it in there. And look, there's the shifter hole that goes to the inside of the car, and a big hole we put in the insulation when we were trying to get it out. My bad. Get some tape. So take two, we're using the old input shaft from Darren's old transmission as a clutch alignment tool, because the alignment tool that comes with, you can see the shaft diameter that has to plug into the crankshaft is way narrower in circumference. Therefore, the clutch discs were aligned, but they were not in the center line of the crankshaft, so the transmission would go in. So Mantic, how about a thicker tool? Look at this handy schmandy little gear oil pump thing. This is what I run in mine. So everyone else who's scouring the world for your special Castrol whatever, you can get bit, because I've had this in the car for 30,000 miles and it's just fine. Everything's back together. Fill it with fluid, bleed the clutch, good to go. Transmission full, battery needs reconnected, but we disconnected it and then the hatch closes and there's no way to get it open because I learned something else about the key. FYI, there's a keyhole back here that pulls a cable that should open this hatch, but if you take the cable off and forgot you took it off when you're doing something else, surprise, surprise, that the keyhole doesn't work. So now we have to go do it the long way. We're gonna pump this clutch. Ooh, no pedal. Nope, no pedal.
Do it really slowly going down to the floor and really slowly coming back up off the floor.
You mean, is that because the whole slave cylinder is full? Or is empty?
Yes.
Alright, we're gonna try it. Clutch feels kind of okay. Car's all back together. Diffuser's on. Now, while we're on the lift, Mike and I are looking at... Oh, I can't turn the light on. Here, hold on. There. Here's the access port in the side sill, the exhaust, but it just doesn't line up, so you can't get a socket on there from here, which means you can see how deformed this is from me whacking it, doing the old orange hammer adjustment. Look at that coating, by the way. Tisk tisk. Let's look at the other side. This is the hammer side, but it's the same thing. You just can't quite reach, and so get to hammering, boy. Woo! All right, everything seems to be in order. We've got some slow driving, so we did some avoid highways, so we got 100 miles to go to get home and get this clutch broke in, yo. Still 33 miles to go. The shifting's a little notchy, but I don't know if we tweak the handle or something, the lever putting it in. I don't know. Still getting used to it. But feels really nice. The clutch, the effort is really light. I'd actually prefer it to be slightly heavier, but what are you gonna do?